Welcome to today's 3-minute Halacha. There's a mitzvah in the Torah for Kohanim to bless the Jewish people each and every day. Kol tevarchu, says the Torah. And in fact, that bracha was a centerpiece of the avodah, the service in the Beit HaMikdash. And yet, Ashkenazic Jews in the diaspora don't recite the Birkat Kohanim every day. The Kohanim don't go to Duchen. Why? The Maharil, one of the early sources of Ashkenazic custom, suggests that the reason is because Kohanim, before they would duchen, would want to go to the mikveh. But since the climate was so difficult in the wintertime, they couldn't. And so they fell out of practice of saying Birkat Kohanim, of duchening each and every day. Nevertheless, on Yom Tov, when they specifically made sure to go to the mikveh, then they would duchen. Rabbi Ephraim Zalman Margoliot suggests that there's a different answer. He says, because we're really not sure if the Kohanim are Kohanim, that we're not sure if they're miyuchasim, if they have the yichus. And therefore, on a daily basis, we don't allow them to say Birkat Kohanim because there's a possibility of a bracha of Atolah. But when it comes to Yom Tov, we allow it. We rely on leniencies so that people won't forget what duchening is all about. Chassam Sofer suggests that the reason is because nowadays our davening is not with the kind of kavanah that it should be, and it would be inappropriate to add duchening into it. The Ramah, however, offers perhaps the most famous of answers, and he says that ultimately the only way you can give the Birkat Kohanim, that the Kohen could go up to the duchen if he's able to bless the Jewish people with simcha, with a sense of love and joy, which unfortunately in the diaspora, with all of our troubles, is not something we can do. Nevertheless, the Rama Mifano referred to the fact that Ashkenazim don't say Birkat Kohanim as a minhag garua, a very bad custom. The Beit Yosef was very, very critical, saying all of our reasons not to duchen are based on practices that are never mentioned in the Gemara, and therefore they're chumras, their stringency, which lead to leniencies of not saying the Birkat Kohanim. The Vilna Gaon is famous in having wanted to restore the Birkat Kohanim to the daily davening of Ashkenazim. Unfortunately, he was unsuccessful, but his Talmidim were. When they made Aliyah, they began the custom of, in Israel, of Ashkenazim also duchening every single day. In Tzfat, they don't. Only on Shabbos they duchen, because Tzfat was not a place necessarily where the Vilna Gaon had great influence, since it was more Hasidic in nature. Rav Chaim Volozhiner, another student of the Vilna Gaon, wanted to institute in Volozhin, the Birkat Kohanim on a daily basis. However, the night before they were going to, a fire broke out and destroyed much of the town. They viewed this as a sign that they couldn't. Reb Nosson Kamenetsky, in his famous book, The Making of a Gadol, says that this wasn't a heavenly sign, but actually that there was a tradition from Yisrael Salanter that there was an old Jew who objected to changing custom. And therefore, he committed an arsonage to stop Reb Chaim Volozhiner from changing a custom. Ultimately, the Aruch HaShulchan laments that what are we able to do? It's as if a bas kol, a heavenly voice, came out and told us not to raise the hands of the Kohanim on a daily basis. There is a tradition not to do so, and so we do not duchen on a daily basis, even though halachically there is great basis to do so.